Hey guys, hey hey hey. No. Hey guys. Um, I hope you're doing good and I hope you're listening to me. If any of the hustlers is here, please send me a message through WhatsApp just to confirm with me if you can see um, the presentation right now. So I would really appreciate it. I'm just gonna wait like 30 seconds to see if I get a response from anyone. Okay, so yeah, I guess this is working. I know that it has changed a little and that Juju had some technical issues during his first webinar, so I hope I'm not having the same issue. But yeah, so first of all, welcome and thank you for joining. My name is Mauricio and I'm your MCVP OGX. And yeah, welcome to the episode 4 of the Marketing Academy. And yeah, for this episode, we are going to talk about EP management. And yeah, this topic is a topic that could involve like so many subtopics because there could be like so many situations happening with the EPs. But today I'm just gonna give a really general overview of how EP management looks like and the things that you have to take into consideration. And tomorrow in the next and last webinar, we're gonna talk about about the frequently asked questions from the EPs. So don't worry if you don't get all of the information today, or if you have doubts. Of course, you can write me and let me know. But yeah, but tomorrow in the webinar, uh, we're going to touch a lot of these topics that uh, you will maybe be thinking about it during this one. So yeah, without further ado, let's start. So we're talking about EP management, and if you are a new member in ISEC, maybe you already noticed that we used a lot of acronyms and that we're always like just saying these random words. So if you don't know what an EP is, first of all, an EP is actually an exchange participant. So this means that every person that goes on an exchange with ISEC is an exchange participant, and thus we will call this person an EP. Okay, so it's just a fast way to say it. So if you think about it, EP management would be this. So managing an EP means that you're gonna help young people find the best project for them to develop leadership abroad, as well as guiding and supporting them throughout the process and their experience. So yeah, as you might think about it, we are managers for these people, and we are gonna help them since they join, since they sign up in our platform until they come back from their experience. So yeah, why do we do this? Why do we have EP management in the organization? First of all, is because we want to be customer centric. We want the EPs to really like the organization, to like their experience, and for us to make sure that they are having the best experiences. So of course we have to focus on our customer. Also because we want quality. So even though people can apply directly to projects and almost do kind of all of the process by themselves, this EP servicing could really help us having and ensuring quality in our exchanges. Also because EP management will help us have faster processes in the organization. And if we then become good at being fast, at having quality, and also knowing how to deal with our customers, this means that we are also going to be able to service several people at the same time. And this is why some entities around the world, and by entities I mean other countries, service like hundreds and even thousands of EPs per year, because people are really good in EP management and they know how to work with I don't know, 20 people at the same time per person. So yeah, if we become better at EP management in ISEC in Austria, we're going to be able to deliver way more experiences than the ones that we're having right now. So okay, this is why EP management is important. But yeah, for you to know then what would be the EP flow. So remembering EP is exchange participant, and the flow is kind of like the journey that they're gonna have since the beginning until the end of the experience. So we have actually names for this, and you're gonna be really familiar with these acronyms throughout your experience if you are in the B2C area. Mostly, but also if you are in operations in general. But yeah, so we actually have open. So it's when the EP sign ups in our platform, then EPs apply to projects, then they get accepted at some point, then they get approved to one specific project, that this is the project that they chose. Then they get realized. We're gonna go through the explanation of each one of these in a bit. Then they get finished, and lastly they get completed. I know that some of these seem kind of familiar. So for example, what would be the difference between a person being accepted and a person being approved? Or what is the difference between a person being realized or being finished or being completed, right? So this is why I'm here, and this is why this webinar is here. So yeah, for you to understand, an open is a person that signs up. Okay, so for example, you go to isec.org, you create your profile, and we as ISEC, we can see the people that sign up as EPs for Austria, right? So an open normally is a person that it's either a stranger or a person that was referred by someone, or a person that knew about ISEC by, I don't know, seeing something in social media, or that went to an info stand and just decided to create a profile in your platform or an account. Okay, so that's an open. For example, if you're a member, you also have to create an account on isec.org, so you also become an open because you are also a potential person to go on an exchange to go on exchange in the future, even if you're a member. And for example, even though I've been a member in ISEC since 2015, I also had an exchange, so I use both my account if I want to go on an exchange with ISEC, but also as a member. So open, coming back again to this, open is a person that creates a profile in our platform. then that means that a person actually can apply to one project in our platform, but they can also apply to two or to three or to four. So they can actually apply to several projects. So if I sign up right now, I can apply for 10 different projects and 10 different countries, and my status as EP is going to change to applied. Okay, so us as members in AIESEC, we can also see like what are the applications of our EPs and where do they want to go and to which kind of projects. But for example, applying to 10 different projects doesn't necessarily mean that you're gonna be accepted to all of them. So in order to get accepted, for example, some countries actually interview you, others ask for a video, or others even for you to fill out a form, and then based on their criteria for acceptance, they are gonna decide if you're gonna continue in the process or not. And if you do as an EP, or if your EP does, then you get accepted in the platform. So for example, in a way, maybe we could say that out of 10 applications that you had, so you were in applied, now you're gonna be accepted in 5 of them. But you applied for 5 projects that are happening on the same time, right? So you want to go during summer. So this is why we have another step in the process, or another part in the process, that it's to get approved. So to get approved, it is going to be the final project that you're going to decide to take. And in order for the EPs to get approved, we need them to sign the contract. Tomorrow we're gonna talk about more. We're gonna talk more about the contract, but also we are going to talk about different things. And also in NATCO, in the upcoming conference, we're gonna talk more about these things. Also, the approved is made by both sides, so the person in AIESEC in the other country has to approve you, and also the person in AIESEC in Austria. And yeah, and this means that when you're approved, you are ready for the experience. So in this moment, we help the EP, and we tell the EP like, okay, we're gonna help you. We actually have a preparation seminar and many different like other things that we're gonna talk about during the conference. And after that, the next part of the process is to get realized. In order for you to get realized as an EP, it means that it is your first day in the project. So the first day that you're in the project, your status in the platform is gonna change to realize, and you're gonna leave your project. Normally for our GVs is 6 weeks. So after those 6 weeks, you're gonna be finished. So the last day of the project, you're gonna appear as finished in the platform. And a completed experience means an experience that was actually really good in terms of quality, that all of the standards that we have for our experiences to be good were completed. So this happens when the EP is back home. So when the EP comes back to Austria, we see the EP, and then we debrief with them what is happening, what happened in the experience. And if they get completed, it means that it was a really good experience. Good. So here we have again the EP flow. So we have open, applied, accepted, approved, realized, finished, and completed. We already went through this. But another important thing in EP management is this part, what happens between the applications and the approvals. So what happens between the applications and the approvals is something we measure in the organization, that it's called process time. So process time means how fast we are, well, or what we measure with process time is how fast we are doing this process, because it actually has to be pretty fast, okay? So our process time is the time that it takes for an EP that applied to be approved for the project. And we have goals in AIESEC in Austria from applied to accepted, and also from accepted to approved. Okay, so when a person applies, the number of days at least the maximum number of days that they have to have in order to get accepted is 5 days. Okay, and in order to get approved is 7 days. these numbers don't accumulate, so it's not 5 plus 7, but it means that, for example, uh, if your EP got accepted in the third day, then it has 4 more days to get approved. Okay, so it is a combination of the 7 days. So everything has to happen at least within a week. Okay. Our process time last year as Isaac in Austria was approximately 15 days, and right now we are like at 8 days. A lot of the many of the LCs are actually having a really good process time, so we are kind of there, but we have to be better. And yeah, so then how to be fast, because you can tell me like, okay, I cannot influence the decision of the EP, like I cannot force him or her to go fast on an experience, or like to sign the contract. But like these are some tips that you can actually use in order for you to get your EPs to get approved fast for a project. So first, propose specific projects and countries. So just don't sell that Isaac is going to send you to wherever you want in the world, but actually promote the countries that we are promoting as a national level, and also the projects based on the SDGs that you think would fit your EP's needs. Also, always set deadlines. So, for example, if they are thinking about applying, set a deadline for that day in the evening, or for the next day in the morning that they have to apply. Then after applying, set another deadline for them to read the contract and signing it. So if you actually start putting deadlines, EPs are gonna make things faster, and if not, maybe it is going to take you 2 weeks in order for them to do things, because they are not gonna feel pressure. Next one is to create LC2LC cooperations with IR partners. So LC2LC cooperations means that you talk to another committee in another country to sell a specific project, or to sell their city, and then yeah, this is going to help you. So it's kind of like related to the first one. And the fourth one is to brief the EP since the beginning about the whole process. So for example, if you tell since the beginning like, okay, we have to do this in around 5 days, or in around 3 days, so you can apply today, then you're gonna get accepted in the next day, then we can approve you in 3 days. So if you brief them about like all of the steps that you have in the process, then they are gonna be aware of where they are and what they still need to do in order for them to get approved. And yeah, so then what does it mean? What does it mean to be an EP manager? So here are points that you are both going to develop as an EP manager, but that you also need to have in a way. So yeah, in a way you're gonna learn sales skills. Sometimes we think that we are not selling in B2C, or in OGX as we call it, because we're not talking to companies or NGOs directly, but at the end of the day, you have to remember that our EPs are our clients, so we also have to sell really good what is Global Volunteer. As Juju already mentioned in the other webinar, he already talked about like what is Global Volunteer as a product, so you need to learn how to sell it. Also, as EP manager, you should be tracking what is happening with your EPs every day, checking how's it going, if they need support. Also, you have to be solution oriented in terms of like, okay, if they want a specific country, a specific project, or the dates are not matching, or there can be some discount from the ICX side, you can really be solution oriented and propose things to ICX or to the EP, and also negotiate so you can solve these kind of things. And also you have to have empathy and rapport with the EP, so it's not just about selling something, but also convincing people to do it, and they trusting you as an EP manager. Other qualities that you're going to develop as an EP manager, and that you also need for the position, is you're going to be doing international relations. So you're going to be able to talk with people from all over the world. So for example, right now we're cooperating a lot with Mexico, with India, with Colombia, and with Indonesia, but we are also sending people to really different countries around the world. So that's a pretty cool side about this job. Also, you're gonna learn things about migration and how to support your EPs, with these kind of things. Also legalities regarding the contract, and like how do we work how do we work legally as an organization. And you're also going to become like way better at setting expectations with the EPs, and for example with people from the other countries about how Austrian youth is in general, and how to sell these kind of projects or these kind of profiles to people. So yeah, things to remember as an EP manager. Our EPs must be contacted within the first 24 hours. So every time we have people signing up, we have to contact them in the first day. So we have to be fast about these things. We have to be super present all the time, and like making sure that they are having good support, because you have to remember that they're clients, and I think that we all like a good. Customer service when we are getting a service or a product. So just think about that. Also, constant communication. So, for example, I normally talk daily with my EPs, or at least 3 times per week. Also, depending on what part of the process are you. So we can talk about that during NATCO as well. Always have a CTA, so it's a call to action or a next step. So, for example, don't ever have a meeting or a call and be like, okay, bye. Like you always say, like, okay, so the next step would be for you to apply to the project, or your next step or your call to action is for you to sign the contract and to make sure that everything's in order for you to go. So always make sure that you have a CTA at the end of an interaction with an EP. And also always remember that the EPs are clients, so it's not just your friend, it's not just the person that you met at the university, but it's also a person that is going to get a service from us, and is going to pay for the service. So make sure that you're also acting professionally from this side. So yeah, this is it. This is a really short webinar. As I said before, you can ask me things, but also to show your learnings. Just make sure that you're going to this link, and you're gonna have a question there, just like with the other webinars. And I will also see you tomorrow for episode 5. And yeah, that it's gonna be, as I said in the beginning, frequently asked questions from EPs. So yeah, thank you so much. If you have doubts about it, just let me know, and see you soon. Bye bye.